Oh my god, you guys. I swear last year, we hardly talked about Jaclyn Hill at all. She was really keeping to herself, she took a step back from Morphe, which was really good, and all she was doing was focusing on building her own brands. But towards the end of the year, that all came to an end when Jaclyn decided to launch her brand new brand, Cozy. Cozy was another influencer's brand, and Jaclyn pretty much stole the name from her. We've been over this time and time again, so we're not going to go into all of that right now, but that really caused a downward spiral for Jaclyn. Ever since then, it's been one thing after another, and that's not stopping anytime soon. Jaclyn's ex-friend and business partner, Marlena Stell, has finally broken her silence about Jaclyn and how she cost her millions of dollars. It's a mess, so let's get into it. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, Marlena Stell was the owner and founder of the iconic brand Makeup Geek. Back in the early days of YouTube, Makeup Geek was like the best of the best. It was all the early beauty gurus could talk about, especially Jaclyn Hill.
I'm just a Makeup Geek fan. I love Makeup Geek. I love Marlena. If you don't know, Marlena is the creator of Makeup Geek, and she does have a channel of her own here on YouTube. I'll link her down below, or you can just type in Makeup Geek. She was actually the first person I ever saw in the history of time doing makeup tutorials on YouTube. My mom ran and grabbed me and was like, Jaclyn, there's this girl on YouTube that's doing makeup. And I was like, what? So yeah, I just love Marlena.
You see, before Linda and Morphe came along, it was all about Marlena and Makeup Geek for Jaclyn. And I hate even making that comparison because Makeup Geek was on a whole other level compared to Morphe. They weren't private labeled, and it was the first time we actually saw an influencer take the platform they built and turn it into a business. Through Makeup Geek, Marlena and Jaclyn became really, really close. So close, they decided to do a collab together. Jaclyn had been teasing her collab with Makeup Geek, getting all her fans excited, and then one day, it got canceled. Back in 2016, Trendmood posted a screenshot of someone saying to Jaclyn, "Girl, when is your Makeup Geek palette coming out?" And Jaclyn responded, "It's actually not happening anymore. Due to delays and other collaborations from both ends, it's not able to happen. So sad." So Jaclyn tried to make it seem like they both had bigger things going on and delays, and that's why they both decided to end things. Ever since then, the friendship between Marlena and Jaclyn started to break down. As much as Jaclyn tried to make it seem like everything was okay, we all knew it wasn't. After years of silence, Marlena finally started to speak out about Jaclyn after the whole hairy lipstick situation. Marlena posted a video talking about how even though Jaclyn was their #1 supporter, she still helped Jaclyn create her own brand, even while knowing it would eventually take Jaclyn away from her brand. She told her what labs to use and even told her what labs to avoid, one being the one Jaclyn ended up using anyways for her lipsticks. She also talked about their canceled collab palette and how Jaclyn kept pushing the date around, and it got to the point where they couldn't push it back any further. They had stock and they needed to move it.
The whole story was we couldn't find a timeline to work. I didn't have a contract signed. It was my fault. I take full blame for that. The reason I didn't was because there was a friendship there and because there was no indication along the way that this wouldn't happen. I knew the dates were going to be pushed around. In the end, I was the one that pulled that stopped the collaboration, not Jaclyn. The reason why was because we already ordered the product. It was in our warehouse for 5 months at this point, and I was afraid that these were going to expire and go bad, and I can't have non-fresh product being sold.
So you can only imagine just how big of a loss that would be for Makeup Geek, and Marlena ended up recently shutting down her brand.
I didn't take time since Makeup Geek started to really stop and realize the magnitude of what it got to. Like, you guys, it went from 0 revenue in my parents' basement to a multi-million-dollar business with no investors, no loans or anything in less than 5 years. Like, that's insane. That's insane. On top of it, like, you know, Forbes features and MSNBC and a Netflix documentary and all these things. I had a life that I never dreamed even possible when I turned on that camera my first time on YouTube years ago. And that's because of you guys. And I don't have strong enough words to say how much gratitude I have. Like, saying thank you doesn't even feel like enough to tell you thank you for the life that you gave me. I feel so lucky and so blessed, and I don't know what else to say to you guys other than thank you.
That brings us to today. After what happened with Cozy and Jaclyn ruining yet another woman's business, Marlena decided she finally had enough. She was over being silent and she was ready to tell her story. Marlena made an account on Reddit and she joined the snark page for Jaclyn Hill and she aired out everything. She titled her post, "New to the sub, found you all, call out time. She started off by attaching 2 pictures showing palettes of stock, which we can only assume to be the canceled Jaclyn Hill palette. She started her post off writing, "I'm tired of staying quiet, especially after the Kaylin incident, because that's yet another woman in a line of many who have been done dirty by a manipulative liar. I'm tired of not speaking everything in fear of being called a hater looking for relevancy. But since I closed my brand already, I don't have to worry about being told I'm trying to drum up sales. Been holding this all in for 7 years." I've forgiven Jaclyn for losing Makeup Geek $1 million, even though it was a crap move and hurt my company horribly. I should have gotten the contract signed, but never imagined a friend would pull out knowing the inventory was already in-house. Hardest lesson I've ever learned. I even texted her pictures of all the crates of product sitting in my warehouse. That's why Makeup Geek struggled so much after 2016, was a literal $1 million worth of product was ordered. Retail revenue actually lost was $4.5 million. $1 million was just what was invested in product ordered. Many boring palettes happened after that in an effort to recover costs. In the nude palette, bunch of other ones, same packaging, because I had 100,000 units. I ended up tossing thousands of them last year when I announced Makeup Geek closure. But what hurt even worse than the financial wreckage was her pretending to be a friend only to drop me like a toilet wad as soon as she found someone else to give her what she wanted: info on how to start a makeup brand. Meanwhile, I was thinking it was a true friendship, so I went out of my way to give her secretive info like labs and packaging connects. I even drove her personally to San Francisco from Napa to do an in-person meeting with a vendor to help her with her lipsticks. She was Makeup Geek's biggest affiliate, so I could have just not helped her knowing it was technically competition for another brand. But I knew how hard it was starting a brand from scratch with no help. I believed in her and actually did love her like a friend and wanted to see her succeed. She's crazy talented in makeup. Once Jaclyn became friends with Linda, not only was I dropped, but she took Linda to every lab I gave her. I put my reputation on the line by asking favors from my vendors to meet with her. The final straw of friendship for me was me seeing her at my lab with Linda the same day as me. Well, she blew me off and stated she was too busy to meet me for even a coffee. She lied, saying she had errands and couldn't meet up. Meanwhile, that afternoon, my team sees her and Linda at my lab while we're there. That was the day I knew who Jaclyn truly was, and I felt so stupid and deceived. I messaged Jaclyn months before Lipstick Gate and told her I was hurt all this time and stated my feelings about the shady business practices of Morphe, lying about the restocking vegan palettes, subpar quality, etc. When I stated it was a crap move to pull out of the collab, she had no remorse and said, "What do you want me to do, Marlena?" And yes, I warned her about that lab, but she did a rush job and went with them anyways. I knew it was a rush job when the Lipstick Gate happened because my other vendors who denied the last minute request from Morphe told me. Again, that's why I was vocal about Lipstick Gate, because I knew what happened, even as she was lying through her teeth. Fuzzy gloves my ass. It hasn't been one thing with her, but a repeated series of lies, stepping on other women to serve her what she wants, stealing other brands, blaming everyone else for her poor morals, and so much more. I know I've been blunt lately, but honestly, I'm fed up. And no, I won't do a video because her fans are rabid, and I want to keep some semblance of peace after working so hard the past 4 years to get rid of toxic people and things in my life. I should probably not blast her on social even, but the Kaylin instance was so damn crappy that I'm just fed up. So that's why I post here and there, cause it's hard to keep quiet when I see so much crap happening to other women too. Stealing Cozy from Kaylin and mocking the trademark was disgusting. Don't get me started on lying about her family-owned business either. Becca's CEO, Jen Gerard, myself, Kaylin, and now Lana. These are just some of the people wrecked by Jaclyn's selfish and shady moves. There's a common denominator here, and it's not all of us. Thank you for letting me rant. That felt good to release. I think I said in a previous video that I was actually shocked that Jaclyn ruined Cozy for Kaylin, knowing that she was an influencer who started from nothing and made a brand for herself. I couldn't believe Jaclyn was okay with doing that to someone, but as Marlena has pointed out, it's clearly become a pattern with her. The fact Jaclyn was ever okay with leaving her friend with $1 million worth of product and $4 million in lost sales is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I'm sure Morphe was probably offering her more and promised her bigger things, so she didn't care that Marlena and her had this amazing friendship and she was massively screwing Marlena over. She was gonna follow the money, even if it meant destroying her friends on the way up. It would be one thing if Jaclyn showed change in how she handles her businesses, but she hasn't. Ripping off Cozy and trying to secretly rebrand when it's way too late, copying designs from her friends, and trying to pass it off as her recreating her own collection. There's a clear pattern here with Jaclyn, and she doesn't seem to really care. Jaclyn has not responded to anything Marlena has posted. The only post she's made was about her wedding. She wrote, "So excited to get married, it's happening so soon," which is probably just her way of saying, "I'm getting married soon, please don't come for me." Anyways guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.